For those who don't know, this is Elder Amoja Ajabu, your host for Ajabu Speaks. This program serves a dual purpose. It is also the poly-ed, the political education class for the Black Panther movement. There's a couple of things that you need to know about your professor. One of them is that your professor is a Pan-African. He doesn't define himself or have as the genesis of his departure based on where he was born. He was born in the United States of America, but he don't support that policy. He don't use that birth as the genesis of his foundation and his worldview. He uses the African continent. Your professor, who is a Pan-African, uses the place where he is from, where it all started, as the platform, the genesis on how he devises his worldview. That's the first thing that you got to understand. The second thing that you got to understand is that he is unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. And I want to talk about truth today. I want to talk about what's really going on with Duck, and you know I call him Duck. Look like a duck, quack like a duck, talk like a duck. You know, I talk about him. You understand what I'm saying? Because he done bombed Nigeria. He done dropped bombs in Nigeria. But there's some discrepancies. In the story. Him and the government, the Nigerian government, and I'm not sure it's all the Nigerian government. Look like it's Tinubu and a couple of fools. But they done hooked up with Duck, and they said, okay, we're not going to contest you dropping bombs in Nigeria. But the people on the ground said, yeah, they dropped bombs, and Duck and Tinubu said, yeah, we dropped bombs, and we dropped bombs because we didn't like the way the folks was treating the Christians, and that we're going to go over there and bomb the terrorists, and we bombed the terrorists, and there was a bunch of them dead. But the people said, look, now that ain't making sense, because ain't no terrorists over here. We don't have no terrorist camps over through here. And when you bombed any people, bombed us, it scared the hell out of us, but you didn't kill nobody. So what I want to get into today, my message today, is that contradiction between the government and the people. I want to know who's lying and why. Let me get to you. Because somebody ain't telling the truth. And we need to know the truth. We need to know the truth. We want to look at the African continent and see what it looks like. Boy, it's dark, no flags, no weapons. It's got gravitas, vigilance. And we're talking about how people, Tinubu and Duck, are exercising power over the truth. Beloved, today we're not debating explosions. We're confronting deception. Because in the modern world, the day we live in today, power is not only in the power of the bomb, not having the ability to drop ordnance on power. That ain't all that they're trying to control. It is power that you got to ask yourself why. You You got to understand why. Why did they drop them bombs? The power is not only the power to bomb, it is also the power to define why. What was the reason for the bombing? Somebody got to tell the people who died. Someone has got to silence those who survived. And what we are witnessing in Nigeria is not confusion. It's not unintentional that the government story is different than the people's story. It's not confusion. It's a contradiction. And the contradiction is where the truth lies. See, we're talking about who speaks the truth versus who lives the truth. Is the truth being spoken? Or are they just telling us a story and hoping that we accept it as the truth? There are faces unseen and symbols of distant authority that is the lived reality. They telling us a story. They telling us that there were casualties. But the people on the ground that was bombed, they say they didn't see all that there. They heard a bunch of noise, but they didn't see all the damage that Ajabu and Duck is telling everybody that went on. There's a contradiction here. The American government claims multiple terrorists were killed. The Nigerian federal government repeats this claim like a damn parrot. Yeah, they was killed. What you say about what they was killed? Help me out. Yeah, what's the story? Okay, I tell them. But the people who was living where the bombs fell say something else. They say, look, that ain't what we saw. What they said, that ain't what we lived through. We ain't saw nobody dead. We ain't picked up nobody's. We ain't had no funerals. And ain't nobody around here grieving about loss of a loved one from the bombing. And not only that, there ain't no evidence of any terrorists running around here. It's a rumor. Because these are the people in the neighborhood that was bombed, and they saying this is what we live every day. What they talking about? We don't see that every day. We don't wake up and there's terrorists running around. We don't see it like that. What we see is them not telling the truth of what's coming and happening on the ground. If you got boots on the ground, if you live in the neighborhood and you ain't got no relatives or friends or someone that you think you know that died, then ain't nobody got killed. Why are Ajabu and Duck telling people that people got killed when didn't nobody got killed? Why are they in the back room talking about the story that they gonna tell people? Why? That's the question that we gotta tell ourselves. Why? Obviously they ain't telling the truth, so what is the truth? They claiming that they over there trying to save some Christians, and ain't no Christians being beat up. Ain't no terrorists being running around. And they telling us that look, we bombing, we going over there. Look, they ain't treating the Christians right. The terrorists ain't treating the Christians right. We going over there to bomb them. Yeah, I know we ain't treating Christians right here in America. But don't look at that. We going over into Nigeria because they ain't keep treating the Christians right. Give me a break. And the people over through there say there ain't no Christians getting terrorized because they Christian, because they ain't no terrorists. We get along. We ain't got no problem with them over there. And Duck telling Ajabu to tell the world that it is, that's a contradiction. There's no active insurgency. There's no terror activity. There's no threat to a church or civilians. So if we're going to understand this thing, we must ask ourselves, who was being saved if no terrorist was there? What was really going on? This exposes a very dangerous lie. They're using humanitarian language to justify imperial violence. And Chinua Achebe warned us. He said the trouble, listen to him, boy, this is so prophetic. He said the trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. Y'all know Chinua Achebe wrote that book. What was it? I forget the name of the book, but he wrote that book, and he's from Nigeria, and the name of the book is "Things Fall Apart." And then when he was writing that, he says the problem with the Nigerian government is the leadership, and you can see it's the leadership. Why would the leadership grant some outside power the authority to drop bombs on his people, on his land? That sounds like that you ain't in control. That sounds like that you done had a failure of proper behavior, proper action. And now what you done did, and you're not telling people what you done did, you're lying about it. And the facts, the people's story collapses that story that you're talking about. Cracked stone statues symbolizing, give me that. Eyewitnesses say, the people on the ground, the people that live in the neighborhood, they say that there is no terrorism here. Let us be clear. The people bombed, the ones that they bombed, they said there's no terrorists there. This contradiction matters because counterterrorism, if you say that you're fighting counterterrorism or you're trying to counter terrorism, then that requires terrorists. You can't counter terrorists if there ain't no terrorists. And the people say that there was none present. So it's obvious that the bombing was not about counterterrorism. It was something else. Something else. That ain't the beat of that drummer. It's something else. We got to determine what it is. And when we start looking at it, we find out that Nigeria didn't choose to target. America chose to target. The people say, shoot, we ain't into no terrorists hurting us, but ain't no terrorists around here, so we don't need you bombing over here. The local leaders didn't say, man, bomb us. They didn't request intervention. Nigeria, the government, didn't authorize transparency. If you're going to come over through here and you're going to bomb, then you're going to have to tell us who you bombed and why you bombed. And they didn't do none of that. Everything that was determined that was going to happen was done outside of Nigeria. It was done in America. It was Duck and his boys. They didn't use any Nigerian aircraft. They used all the America's aircraft. They didn't even have Nigeria in on the decision making. The decision making was America. Nigeria did not lead this operation. They enabled it. They allowed it to happen. And that's what General Ajabu is saying. The problem in Nigeria is its leadership. And Kwame Nkrumah warned us. He said, okay, you're going to run them out, and we don't run them out of here, but they still going to try to control, and they're going to try to control through what we're going to call neo-colonialism. Means that they control not being here, but control outside of it. And he's saying that this is where we're at. And he says that this is the last stage of imperialism. What Tinubu is doing in Nigeria with Duck is a good example of the neo-imperialism of which Nkrumah was speaking. You're seeing it. You're seeing the words of Nkrumah come to life with the relationship that Tinubu has with Duck. So what was the real reason? Who was the real audience of that bombing? Let's look at where that bombing took place. Let's look at it locally or geographically. The bombing occurred right there at the Niger border. A shared frontier with the Alliance of Sahel states. The bombs near the border, that wasn't accidental. That was a message. That was not aimed at the villagers. The villagers were not the audience who they was trying to speak to. They was trying to speak to the people in the capital of Niger, Niamey. The message that America was trying to send is we can reach you. We can get close. We got a relationship right in Nigeria that they let us get right on your border. We can escalate it. That was the message. Marcus Garvey smoked very well. And he told us a people without knowledge or their history is like a tree without roots. History tells us this is how invasions begin. Nigeria is on the border of Niger. And I understand that, Bishop, you're right. The bombs didn't hit anyone. They weren't in the water. No, they weren't in the water. They hit land. They hit land. But they didn't hit no people. And that's the point. Why? But Duck and Tinubu are saying that it hit people. It didn't. And this is what I'm saying. They're saying that they was after people, but that's deception. That's the lie that they telling. That's what you want to believe because they're doing something else. And you got to look at the where the bombing took place. It took place right on the border with Niger. Show that picture. Show that map. What this was, Bishop, this was a test run. Everything about this bombing points to a test run. They was testing Nigeria's compliance. Well, they buck. They was testing what kind of airspace do we have access to. If we go up in there, will somebody shoot at us? They was testing the media. What the media gonna say? Will they be quiet about it? Will they not tell anybody? And then they was, more importantly, testing our reaction. They didn't have to kill anybody. It wasn't about killing anybody. It's about determining and evaluating, calculating from the environment in which they can do it. Can we do it? And what are people going to do if it's not what we say? Can we go and bomb Niger and take over that uranium and nobody stop us? And they was testing it, and they didn't have to kill nobody to justify the lie that they was telling. They didn't need no proof. They said, I can do it. It was a demonstration of power, and Tinubu went with it. And Malcolm warned us. And he told us if we're not careful, the newspapers will have us hating the oppressed and loving the oppressor. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to say that they're saving Christians so that psychologically we will say, well, dang, that's all right. He's saving Christians. He's killing people, but he's saving Christians. And so they use that as a story to get us to accept that to be true, when all the time that they lying and they over there getting ready to jump on our people because they want to steal those natural resources. That this was a rehearsal. It wasn't a rescue. They was testing our resolve. They wanted to see where we stood. They wanted to see if we would stand up and say, look, no, we ain't going to have that. You can't do that. It was a test. And see, Tinubu's role was betrayal. It was betrayal. It was a betrayal of the Nigerian people, Nigerians' sovereignty, a betrayal of the regional stability. The brothers in the Sahel are trying to say, look, we're coming together and we're trying to stop that. It was a betrayal of the interest of Africans. You didn't have a public mandate. You ain't giving us no transparency. You ain't trying to be accountable. And Kwame Ture told us the United States has no conscience. Why are you messing with them people? I need for y'all to like this video and subscribe, because you ain't getting this kind of analysis nowhere else. You got to come here to get this analysis because your professor is unbossed and unafraid of the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the naked truth. If you have a problem with the truth, you in the bad place. You in the wrong place. But if you want the truth and nothing but the truth, sit your butt down. We're going to talk about it. Tinubu is betraying our people. He's serving America, and they ain't got no conscience. My brother, what are you doing messing with them? They'll never protect Nigerians. No ass. It's betrayal. You're selling us out. We can't have it, blood. You can't do it like that. What's wrong with you? Don't you love yourself? You're doing that to your mama and your daddy and everybody that look like your mama and your daddy. What's wrong with you? Don't you have a conscience? We've got to stand together. We can't have outside forces coming in, bombing our people. If there's a problem within our land, then we need to solve it. Elijah Muhammad taught us to do for self. And the alliance of Sahel states has been very clear. They done told everybody, if you attack one of us, you done attacked all of us. and we will respond. We are a collective. We ain't by ourselves. He got back up. Johnny. He got back up. We gonna stand with him. If you come over here and fight, we going to stand together because we understand we got historical memory. Give me them brothers. Give me them brothers. We got historical memory. We understand what they have done. We understand that if we let them divide us, then they beat up on us. They can't whip us. They stop us till we can make us pause, but they can't whip us. And now we're understanding the lessons of what they done taught us. We can't stand by ourselves. We got to stand together. We got to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and solve them together. We can't be out here hanging by ourselves. And I need that. I need that. We understand what they done to us. We understand. Now I need the brothers in the tree. That's who I'm talking about. But I need the brothers in the tree. Yeah, these brothers here have stood and said, look, we look. You can't jump on one of us. You just can't jump on brother. I can't get you can't jump on brother. If you jump on brother, you got to jump on all of us. He don't stand by himself. We stand with him. Because we understand what has been done. Boy, give me that picture of them brothers. You know who I want. The hanging in the tree. Yeah. Ah! There it is. So we understand what's been done. This has been done. We ain't trying to go through that no more. So we gonna stand together. When we stand by ourselves, we can't. This is what happens. We need to stand together to stop this. And the brothers in the Sahel saying we stand together. Nkrumah told us and warned us and taught us. He said, divided we are weak. United, Africa could become one of the greatest forces for good. We got to stand up to quit these people from acting in the way that they acting. They don't know no better. They ain't got no conscience. If they did, they wouldn't do stuff like this. And now they dropping bombs over in Nigeria, talking about that they trying to save Christians, and they lying. There's a contradiction, and the people on the ground is telling us that they're lying. And we got to understand why they're lying so that we understand how we got to act. And the alliance of Sahel State is about unity, not aggression. We ain't trying to jump on nobody. But we are trying to survive, and we understand that people dropping bombs is not good for our survival. And if they drop bombs, they got a problem. We're just not going to, oh damn, they drop bombs on us. No, it ain't going to be like that. Yeah, you've been listening. And don't go nowhere, but I got to close this out. You've been listening to Elder Ajabu, your host for Ajabu Speaks. And the elder's going to talk to you. And y'all got to support the elder. Help us out. Because you're not going to get this anyplace else. Unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. I'm just trying to find out are you ready? Really?